Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'll be looking today at Sapiens, the debut design by Cyril Leroy, published by his own Catch Up Games and co-published and distributed by Yellow, in which you represent the leader of a prehistoric tribe in a quest for shelter and food across the land. That's all there was, shelter and food. Nothing else. You're busy all the time. There's no books to distract you, no games to play. Oh, terrible, terrible times. So how does this work? Here are most of the components in Sapiens. You have an individual player board, which is made up of two half boards, which have different numbers and patterns on each of them. So as you arrange them, you'll get different layouts each game. And this represents the valley in which you're going to try to expand your tribe. You have a series of caves on the outer board. And at the beginning of the game, you shuffle these action tiles and you lay them out, one on each cave, as well as the waterfalls in the corner of the board. And there are 8 tiles, each with a different icon on them. And these icons relate to specific actions, which relate to the pictures on the tiles that you will be placing on the board. And each tile is a domino type tile, which shows 2 of the 8 actions. You start with 4 tiles drawn at random, and these are in your personal pool, available only to you. You have 5 tiles in a shared pool that anyone can draw from. You also have a score track with your food and shelter marker. You've got a bunch of other tiles. You got some bear tokens, some meat, and some fight tokens. To start the game, you are going to take one of your tiles and lead out from a cave. And you have to match the pattern that is shown on that tile with the half of the domino that you place there. Okay, you could place this here, but one placement restriction is that forest can only be placed in forest, not into plains. So you can place this one here instead. You take the tile, you save it, you can use it later for that action, which I'll explain in a bit, and you score points for the shelter. When you cover a space that has a tile on it, you get the higher points, which would be 6 points for the shelter. If the tile is there, you get the lower number. You then draw a replacement tile from the pool, and flip over one here. And everyone else takes a turn placing their starting tile on the board. And then you're going to take a turn, which you take one of your 4 tiles. You have to place it adjacent to a tile that's already on the board. And domino style, you must match the picture that's already there. When you do that, you get points, food points, equal to the number that you cover with the matching space. So I put this here, I get 1 food point. Mark that on the board. And when you match as well, you get the special action for the thing that you matched. So here I get the fist icon. Again, explain that in a bit. And I'll take some other tile and replace. And then the next player goes, place another tile on the board. I get 2 food. All right. And I get the green action, which in this case is just get an extra food. And draw a replacement tile through here. All right, and we continue on. If you want to go into a cave, then you must match the tile that's adjacent as well as what you're covering in that cave. So I match bone to bone and water on water. I get 2 food points, and I cover a cave with a tile. That's 6 more. And I got other actions here. All right, and draw a tile and continue. So you're going to keep building out as the game progresses. All right, I might match bone to bone here. I got a mastodon or a mammoth, and I cover here. And each time you do that, you're going to get food as you cover that. And each time you build into the cave, you do this. Okay, you're going to continue on doing that. What are these special powers that you're getting, and how do they affect the game? Right now, this is a very solitary activity. I take dominoes. I hope that people don't take the dominoes that I want, and I build out my tribe. Well, the special powers change some of that. With the fire token, you get to place a bear on the board, on another player's board, and you place it adjacent to one of their tiles that's already in play, and you get points, shelter points, equal to the number of tiles adjacent to the bear, but more importantly, they can't play on the bear. So if you know that someone is trying to build into this cave here, if I had the gray and an orange, I can place that there, and they can no longer go in there. Haha, bear's on you. If someone else uses a bear action, they can remove this from the board. Okay. You have the water action, and you get to swap a tile in your personal pool with a tile either in the middle or someone else's personal pool. Okay? If they have only 1 tile that they could place on a turn and you swap them something useless,
you have stuck them but good, and they will now have to start a new tribe. If you can't match anything here, what you have to do is turn over all the tiles in your existing tribe. All right, they've thrown you out. You are ostracized forever, and you have to go build somewhere else. You take the action tile, and you throw it out of the game, and you place this here, and you get the lower number of shelter points, and you build off from there. And you can never touch this tribe again, right? You can't even build up to it. Wow, I left myself with no tiles. I can't build anything. Okay, but I could do this, but now I can't build off here. This is now dead land. All right. With the white one, you get to place an extra tile, but you score only shelter points, not food and not the bonus for matching a tile. So ideally, you're building your way towards that shelter. With the gray one, you take one of these action tiles off the board. It's the only way to get the waterfall tile, and you can use this action, which is similar to this action here. Once per turn, you can use one of these tiles. The orange one gets you 3 shelter points. The green one, as I said, is 1 food. The brown, you get meat from the mammoth, and you can cash in meat for 1 to 10 points if you have 1 to 5 meat. However, you can use this cashing in action only if you actually match a mammoth token. If you have one of this, you get the meat, but you can't cash it in. A little strange variance there. Similarly, with the green action, you don't get a food point. You instead get to place forest onto a plains. Somewhat random, but that's how it works. With the red one, you got these fight tokens. You place this on a tile that's either in the common pool or in someone's personal pool. And when someone places this on the board, then they have to give you one of their food points. All right, and you can place multiple fight tokens. Maybe you just want to reserve a tile you really want, don't want someone else to take. That's one way to do it. They may take it anyway to spite you, but you'll get some food out of it. So those 8 actions, and you use only 1 per turn. The game continues until no one can place a tile anymore, which I have not seen yet, or the central pool and all the stacks run out. Okay, you remove some tiles at random at the start of the game, so not all of the tiles will be in play. There's 2 of each tile and 3 of each tile with a forest on it. So you can sort of keep track of what's coming out there, except some are removed, and you don't know. And once that ends, the game ends, you look over on the score track here, and you are trying to score food and shelter during the game. Well, you as a leader are judged only by your worst efforts. So your high marker is removed from the board. Only your low marker remains, and whoever has the highest low marker wins the game. And there's a run-through of Sapiens, which I've played twice now on a press copy from Yellow, both times with 4 players. The differences between a 2, 3, and 4-player game are not severe. You remove different number of tiles, right, to affect the number of starting tiles in the game. And in a 2-player game, after you take tiles to refill your personal pool, you remove 1 tile from the common pool, hopefully to mess with the opponent. Take out something that they really wanted to use. Haha. Right? Mimics the effect of more players in the game. What's funny, though, is that little bit of meanness in the 2-player game is secretly in the main game itself. And you don't notice it at first when you look at this cartoonish prehistoric tribe, and right, you've got your individual player board, and you think you're just, going out and doing your own thing, hunting and gathering. Right? I'm off on my own, no one can mess with me. And suddenly someone drops a bear in your lap. Out of nowhere, you did not expect it. Right? You were not anticipating that happening. And that is possible with the special actions in the game. And I did this in my second game that I played. One person had played before, so I thought, well, possibly she knows what she's doing better than the other people. So when I had a chance to put down a bear, I did. I dropped it right where she was going to place a tile to go into a cave and get a bunch of shelter points, right? That's the ideal thing you want to do. But it seems really mean amongst the other, like, I get meat, I score some points for myself, I get to place bonus tile, I get a special action. Suddenly, boom, I got a bear. She had to wander off in another direction with the only other tile that she could play and, sort of meander around in places she didn't expect to go. I had an opponent in my second game, who was his first game. He could have swapped tiles and taken the only tile I could have possibly played on my turn. And if he had done that, because I had been building up into the middle of the board, I would have had to flip that and start somewhere else and had maybe a third of the board that I could legally build on. He would have stuck me good, but it was his first play. He didn't notice that, because this is really, although it's not a Stefan Feld game by any means in terms of the scoring and the integrated systems and all that, it plays like that in that it's a blinders game, because you're going to be playing for the first time and you are looking only at your own board and sort of trying to figure out how things work. And if I play this tile, I can play this tile next, and so on and so on. And you pay a little attention to the central pool, but not really. And the second game, you sort of expand your blinders. Now you're paying more attention to the common area. And that third game, you're going to sort of take off the blinders even more and really figure out what other people are doing and pay attention more, right? That's a common thing in the Steffenfeld games. That happens here too, where suddenly you're on your own, you don't know this, but in addition to that, you got bears. You got bears running around, stealing your life, making things rough for you, right? Along with other tribe members. You think everything's really nice and cheery, and then suddenly, you get a club in the back of the head. That is Sapiens.